Hello, my name's Aaron Weber, and I want to visit with you today just a little bit about a condition, a syndrome known as metabolic syndrome. It's fairly new to our lexicon. It really is a condition of other syndromes or conditions in the body. And as the name implies, it deals with your metabolism, and it's a syndrome or a condition of your metabolism, the condition that it's in. For a better example, or for more detailed information on that condition, feel free to go to Google or WebMD or your favorite search engine to find the more technical explanations. I'm going to give you my version of it, which has helped me understand and get my mind around what is sometimes a fairly complex condition, but once you get your mind around it, actually seems quite straightforward and quite logical. For example, think of your metabolism as the furnace that burns the fuel your body has either stored or ingests that allows your body to function the way it was designed. Better yet, think of it as the engine. If you put in poor fuel, the engine may function, but not optimally. If you put in poor fuel and don't tune it up and don't take care of it and don't do all the preventative maintenance and maintenance required from time to time, then your engine's going to begin to function less and less well. Taking that analogy one step further, for example, even if you've got comfortable seats in your car, even if you've got great steering or good wheels or great suspension or gearbox, it all doesn't matter as much, and they won't function as well if your engine isn't running smoothly or at all. You can sit there and pretend to drive, but if the engine isn't functioning, you're not going anywhere. So your metabolism is central to every other function in your body. In fact, there are a number of secondary conditions that flow from when your metabolism doesn't function the way it should. So again, I'd refer you to your credible source, a person or online, whatever that may be, as to a more detailed and scientific explanation. But for me, the furnace analogy or the engine in your car analogy certainly helps me understand how it works. So, in simple layman's terms, what is metabolic syndrome? Well, it's a collection of numbers of different conditions in your body and how your body functions. Your circulatory system, your cardiovascular system. All these things tied together feed into and flow from, sometimes quite literally, your metabolism. Now, heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, having a lack of energy, these are all conditions that manifest when you have some degree of metabolic syndrome. Heart disease, the largest problem on the planet. And I define a problem as a cause of premature death or significant health impairment. A heart attack, a stroke, horrible events. Those are indicators, fairly significant indicators of metabolic syndrome. Diabetes, pre-diabetes, the inability to manage, or as we call it, balance your blood sugar, is a huge indicator of metabolic syndrome. Being overweight, being unable to regulate your weight many times is an indicator of metabolic syndrome. Now, being overweight, blood sugar, cardiovascular disease, these are all interrelated issues because they all feed into and flow from your metabolism. If your metabolism is functioning correctly or tending in that direction, these conditions seem to lessen. Certainly lessen in severity and certainly are more manageable. Now, we could lecture you, as I'm sure you already know, that many of those conditions are, yes, some are genetic, but many of them are lifestyle and diet driven. And so it stands to reason that many of the solutions could also be lifestyle or diet driven. And they can be. But many of us don't have the time or the knowledge or the inclination or, unfortunately, the discipline to do what's required to eat better. Try eating for an entire week and eating nothing with a barcode or comes in a box or a can. Good luck to you. Takes a lot of time. Costs a lot of money. Try exercising more. You know you should. And weight management or fat management is really a function of fuel in and fuel consumed. If you put more fuel in your body and you don't use all that fuel, your body's going to store it as fat. If you put less fuel in your body and your body needs more fuel than what you put in, it's going to take from your stored fuel reserves, your fat, and burn fat. And you become, in that condition, a fat-burning machine. So again, they're all interrelated. Now, just a word, if you have elevated or unbalanced blood sugars, if you have a lack of energy that's sort of dragging along, if you have elevated bad cholesterol or lowered good cholesterol, and there is such a thing as good cholesterol, you don't have indicators of heart disease, you don't have pre-heart disease or pre-diabetes, you have those conditions. We soften the terms just to make us feel better about ourselves so we don't get too panicked. But you certainly have metabolic syndrome. Now, the solution. Yes, eat better. Yes, exercise. Yes, move. And yes, take some natural food-like substances that will assist your metabolism in resetting, in fueling itself more properly, in running more smoothly. Think of it as a complete clean out of your system and then rebuilding it from the bottom up. So even if your diet isn't optimal, we can help moderate that. Even if the fuel you're ingesting is flash fuel. Think of a nice campfire. If you throw petrol on it, you'll get a nice whoosh of flame, and then it just dies back down to where it was, and sometimes less than where it was. That's the Maro bar, or the Snickers, or the M&Ms, or the meat pie, or the Lamington. That's flash fuel. But if you put a good hard series of Manuka logs on there, that's going to burn long and hot. Think of the value that has to your energy levels, your ability to burn fat, your ability for your body to begin to function the way it was. All of these secondary systems can now begin to function the way they were designed because they now have fuel and energy and resources to do so. So, we have products that will increase your energy levels and mental clarity without stimulating you. Not this huge peak and then a crash and a caffeine headache. Naturally supporting your systems to increase the rate of your metabolism to begin to function better. We have products that will assist in the balancing of your blood sugar, lower your blood sugar, your indicators of that, moderate them. So instead of a spike of insulin after a meal, it's more moderated. Instead of a crash 2 or 3 hours later, it's again more moderated. Think of that spike and crash cycle in your blood sugar and cholesterol. Think of the damage that does to your pancreas and other organs in your body. Now think of lowering your bad cholesterol while simultaneously increasing your good cholesterol. And wonderfully in New Zealand, it's measured by a ratio. Your good over your bad, and 2.5 should be the number. And your doctor can give you medication to lower your bad cholesterol, but he can't give you anything to increase your good cholesterol. Back to your primary school fractions, if you change both those numbers simultaneously, then you may change that ratio in a significant way. And so we deal with providing natural sources of energy without being stimulatory. We deal with the way that you can balance or moderate, smooth out the insulin levels in your blood sugar. We deal with the way to lower bad cholesterol, increase good cholesterol, so that all the way through your metabolism is functioning better, functioning more as it was designed, is beginning to burn more fuel. And as you eat better fuel and as you take some of the products we have that moderate that fuel, and doesn't change its nature but changes your body's ability to absorb it over time, all of a sudden you have a steady state, a heightened steady state of energy, such that your furnace burns more of what you ingest and then begins to grab those fat reserves, which are nothing other than stored fuel. So again, I've waved my hands in the air a whole bunch here. All of this, cardiovascular disease, the largest problem on the planet. Diabetes, the second largest and fastest growing problem on the planet and in New Zealand. And being overweight, an obvious indicator usually of the previous two, and certainly of a metabolic issue. All of this and other items, as you do your own research, and we encourage you to do so, fall under the heading of metabolic syndrome. Thanks for listening to me. Please go and do your own research. Please go and compare the products and lifestyle support and adjustments we provide as a way to help you fix what's going on, both primarily and secondarily as downstream causes because your metabolism isn't functioning because you more than likely, and if you don't, someone you know and love certainly does, have metabolic syndrome. Good luck. Hope to see you someday. Have a good day. Bye-bye.